crops growing. They might not need to expect God's power to show up because things will probably work okay just by their own effort. They might not need to remember God. They might decide that they want to just start doing things their own way. And what Moses is saying is when that temptation comes to think that you don't need God anymore, get rid of that temptation because it's a surefire way to end up, instead of really living life, it's a way that you're going to end up killing yourself. It's a way you're going to end up hurting the people around you if you forget about the God who got you here, if you stop living according to His laws, His commandments. So, as we begin the sermon, this is going to be one of those sermons where we stop and pray every once in a while. I know it's a really radical idea to do that in church. But today, just want to pray that first to look at, are the choices that you're making today, are they choosing life for yourself? Are you making choices that cause you to depend upon God, to trust in what God is doing, to follow the way that God is leading you? So first, are you inviting God into your challenges? And are you thanking God for the blessings? Because by choosing to do those things and to live life from that perspective, you're choosing life for yourself. So I want to pray for you, each one of us individually. Lord, help us to look at the decisions we're making today, to see if those decisions are drawing us closer to you and closer to life, or if those decisions are pulling us further away from you. And even though we think we're doing fine, actually leading us toward death. Lord, help us if we've forgotten about you, or if we've trusted ourselves or trusted something other than you. Help us to make a choice today to follow you so that we can have life. Amen. So I said we're going to pray several times. That means the sermon's not done yet. So we choose life. The choices that we make today are for our own sake, so that tomorrow we can experience life more fully. But do you remember what Moses says? Choose life so that you and your descendants can live. So the choices that we make today are not just for ourselves, but they're also for the people that our lives will impact. Our children, our grandchildren. So why do I want to have a strong relationship with God? Yes, it's for myself, but what I believe is that the stronger my relationship with God, the better I can bless my wife and my kids. The better I can bring life out of them. The better I can bless the people that I serve at church. The better I can bless people that I meet each day. That by being close to God, trusting in God, that other people will have life more fully because of my relationship with God. And because I want to model it. In our society, it's not as easy to find models anymore of people who depend upon God rather than upon their own resources or their own hard work. So I want to show other people what it looks like to choose to follow God, even in a world where it's easy to forget about God. But one other thing is when I understand that my choices today affect other people, then I need to look closer at what I'm choosing to do. So maybe some of us have made choices that are causing us to live in a way that actually already is bringing death or harm to the people around us. Maybe some of us are stuck in addictions or in compulsive anger or other issues that we just are gradually destroying the people around us. So maybe today is the day to choose life for the people around us by saying today's the day that this addiction no longer is the thing that runs me. Today's the day I go and talk to somebody about this anger issue or this violence issue. Today's the day that I look at my schedule and see that I need to spend time with my family. I can't be working all the time. Or whatever that choice is, that today is the day that we choose to give life to our loved ones tomorrow by the choices that we make. So I want to pray for you that as you look at your life, we've already prayed that we would make choices that bring life to us. But I want to pray that God would help spend some time talking to you today. Have a conversation with you today about whether there's things you need to make choices about that will bring life to the ones around you. So let's pray. God, help us to honestly see how our decisions are affecting those around us, those that you've called us to love and serve. Help us to see that if our choices today are actually gradually eroding the people around us and degrading the people around us and killing the people around us, help us to make new choices today. Choices that will lead to life, not just for us, but for them. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So now we're on to the difficult one. And obviously I'm not going to deal with everything it says in the gospel reading for today. But I want to just focus a little bit on the perspective. Because the perspective, I think, that Jesus is inviting them into as he teaches them the kingdom of God, is to pull them away from a religious mindset. Because the religious mindset basically says, these are the rules, follow them, things will go well. Don't follow them and you're going to get punished. You're going to get destroyed. And so much of it is out of fear, it's out of performance. And so much of it is about keeping minimum requirements. If I did the minimum requirement, I didn't kill anybody today. But Jesus is saying maybe there's a little bit higher standard than just out of fear keeping minimum requirements. So Jesus says, you've heard that these are the minimum requirements. Let me tell you a way to go a little bit deeper and to strive for a little bit more. So you've heard it said, don't murder people. And that's a good place to start. But I tell you that the way that you talk to people, your anger toward people, the way that you degrade people by the way that you talk about them behind their back. Maybe you're not technically breaking the law of don't kill people, but you're not living in love. So what Jesus is inviting them to say is the standard of love is actually much higher than the standard of law. That when you're just living by the minimum law requirements, you're still looking at yourself. I'm doing what I need to do and I'm not going to be punished. But the standard of love says that you look at the other person and you see how your words, how your actions are affecting them. And if they're not giving life, then maybe you actually are taking life away from them. And that really you are breaking that commandment. So look at the way you speak about people, the way that you treat people. He goes on to share things about even adultery. That you could follow the basic minimum requirements of not actually having an affair with someone and feel like, okay, I'm safe, I'm not going to get destroyed by God. But still, who are you looking at when you're making that choice? You're looking at yourself. So Jesus says the standard of love is much higher than that. The standard of love says that not only do you avoid making bad choices for yourself, but you live in a way that you honor and bring out the value in the other person. So you look at the other person and you say, you know what, that's somebody's daughter. That's somebody's sister. And I would want them to be valued. I would want them to know that they're special, not just some object of someone's lust. So the standard of love is always higher. So Jesus is inviting us to a different standard in the choices that we're making. That the Old Testament is choose life by following the commandments and trusting God. But his standard is not just avoiding making mistakes, but his standard is, but I've got something better than that. It's better than just fear of punishment. I've got something better than that. It's the standard of love. The standard that causes you to not spend your whole life looking at yourself to make sure you didn't mess up, but the standard that causes you to actually see the person in front of you and think about, did what I say or what I do bring life to that person? So it takes us a level deeper as we choose life. We choose life not just by avoiding the bad choices, but we choose life for ourselves and others by choosing to be people who love. People who live life for the sake of building up the one in front of us, honoring the one in front of us, valuing the one in front of us. So today, look at your choices. Are your choices causing you to choose life for yourself? Are they causing you to choose life for the people around you? And if not, I invite you to take some time talking to God about that today. Amen.